Tasmania was a place apart in 1882. We battled storms around the Horn to get the goods to you. There'll be tea leaves in the teapot and sugar on the shelf. And when we get to Hobart Town, well, you can help yourself.
If you're going to talk about Tasmania, you've got to talk about transport. You see, Tasmania is Australia's island state. In the 19th century, only the sailing ships stopped us from being cut off from the rest of the world. They were tough times then, and the rugged Tasmanian coast took its toll of sailing ships and men.
Tasmania was a frontier in 1884, when teams of men in hobnail boots cut roadways past your door. Oh, we'll trade place for Woolcliff or anything you choose. And when we get to Hobart Town, you'll catch up on the news.
Today, we no longer depend on sailing ships, but we do rely on fast, efficient transport. Even 20 years ago, Tasmania was still regarded as a backwater. Now we're only an hour's flight or an overnight ferry trip from the Australian mainland. You've also got to remember that Tasmania is Australia's most densely populated state. That means we really need every type of transport to get us from one place to another. It was a lot different in my grandfather's day.
Oh, where are you going, my traveling man?
I'm going to town to meet a big businessman, contracts to see to, deals to arrange, down in this lovely wee island.
Oh, where are you going, my traveling man?
Into the country to spy out the land. There's rivers to fish in and valleys to see, down in this lovely wee island.
Oh, where are you going, my traveling man?
I'm off to the west coast, there's matters at hand. I'll go down a mine and I'll make my report, down in this lovely wee island.
Oh, where are they going, these travelers all?
They'll crisscross the island, these travelers all. They'll stir up the breezes on bitumen roads, down in this lovely wee island.
You see, my grandfather carved a farm out of the wilderness, and it was his boast he could make everything he needed right there on the farm. Most of us aren't as self-sufficient as he was, so everything we don't have on the island can be shipped or flown in. We also have 4 deep-water ports around the island that have been especially equipped to handle any type of ship. You see, Tasmania still has a special link with the sea, and we get most of the major shipping lines calling in regularly. I can remember a time when you had to pack supplies into some places on foot. That's all changed too. They've pushed the railways through and they're continually upgrading the highways. A lot of things have changed in 20 years.
There'll be no more laying around, my honey, no more going aground, my dear. Got to move this load by midday, out of the shed and into gear. Eyes on the road and feet on the pedals, sound your horn and clear the road. I got no time for tea or coffee, I've got to move this load. Got the goods on you, got the goods on you. I meet a lot of traveling people, travel the whole state through. Got no time to waste, I got no time to waste. The scenery's rushing past my window and I'm making haste.
Of course, a lot of our island is still in its natural state. Our forests supply timber for the paper industry, and we produce wood chips for the Japanese market. Our west coast has a mining industry that goes back over 100 years. And the rich farmlands of the northwest has helped us make our island a major food processor for the Australian and Southeast Asian markets.
Wood chips and paper and copper and tungsten and iron and apples and barley and textiles and chocolates and butter and mutton and metals refined and Portland cement. They're part of the picture.
What are you doing, my dear working fellow, toiling away on the company payroll?
Does it give you pleasure or give you pain? When the clock says tomorrow, will you do it again? Superfine wool and tasty rock lobster and rich-looking vinyl and cheeses, mushrooms and onions and sulfuric acid and oxides and bearings and snap frozen peas. They're part of the picture.
We've also attracted many industrial developments. You see, we can offer hydroelectric power, cheap industrial land, and as for our workforce, it's got a good reputation. People are settled here. They're reliable. I think most people still see Tasmania as one of the last places where you can get away from it all. And so they're a bit surprised when they see our mines and mills and all the trappings of technology.
We want to leave, said of frozen peas. We want to go up north. We're shooting through, said the wood chips too. We want to go up north. Well, I didn't mind when my cement train left me. Now proudly bade them adieu. I'll be sighing, oh, I'll be crying when my sheep start traveling too. I've got to go, said a roll of newsprint. I've got to go up north. I'm going to, said a case of film. I've got to go up north. Well, it broadens the mind, a lot of travel. And I know it's the thing to do. But I'll heave a sigh, I know I'll cry when my sheep start traveling, sheep start traveling, sheep start traveling too.
My grandfather came to Tasmania because he liked the newness of it, and he carved a farm out of the bush because he believed in progress. We still have one of the last great wilderness areas in the world, and we still believe in progress. So we have to make sure we don't destroy one for the sake of the other. We've expanded our transport facilities to cater for our needs. But when the visitors go home, it will be the valleys and the mountains they remember. And we want to keep it that way. But it will be our modern transport system that got them there in the first place. I reckon my grandfather would approve of that.
Oh, where are they going, these travelers all?
They go into Melbourne, their next port of call. They'll travel to Sydney, to Paris and Rome. These travelers are traveling home.
Oh, where have they been, these travelers all?
They've been to Tasmania where the air is still clear. They've crisscrossed the island by road and by plane. It's part of the traveling game. Oh, it's part of the traveling game.